Hello students, welcome to the course on chemistry. In previous lecture, we had studied the classification of hydrocarbons and the alkanes. What is the general formula of alkanes and what are the different members of the alkanes? All those things we have discussed. Now, in today's lecture, I am going to discuss about nomenclature and isomerism. So how these alkanes are nomenclated means named, and what is the arrangement of the atoms in these alkanes, that we will study. So nomenclature, usually it follows the IUPAC nomenclature and it mainly consists of the following parts, that is prefix, word root, primary suffix, secondary suffix. If we combine all these things, then we will get the name of the alkanes or alkenes or alkynes. You have already studied the nomenclature of organic compounds in some basic concepts of organic chemistry. So here I will not go in detail. Simply remember this skeleton of IUPAC nomenclature. It consists of prefix, word root, primary suffix and secondary suffix. So now, what does this prefix represents? It represents the substituent group which is attached to the long chain. And word root means it represents the number of carbon atoms present in the longest chain. So whenever we select a longest chain, in that longest chain, how many number of carbon atoms are present? That can be represented by word root. And primary suffix indicates the type of bond which is present between the carbon-carbon or carbon-hydrogen atoms. So whether there is a presence of single bond, double bond or triple bond, that it will represent. If single bond is there, then the suffix which is used to write in the nomenclature is ANE. And if there is a presence of double bond, then we use the suffix ENE. And if triple bond is there, then we will use YNE. So these are the primary suffixes that are used to indicate single, double or triple bond. Then secondary suffix indicates the type of functional groups attached, whether alcoholic group is attached or carboxylic acid group is attached or amino group is attached. Based upon which type of functional group is attached, we will use secondary suffix. So by remembering all these things, we can easily write the name of any organic compound. So this is about the nomenclature of alkanes. And here another phenomena is isomerism that we can usually observe in alkanes. So isomerism means it is one phenomena where the molecule, it has same molecular formula but different in the arrangement of atoms. Either it has different physical properties or chemical properties due to the difference in the arrangement of atoms. There are different types of isomers will be obtained in the organic compounds. That is also you have learned. Now we will see what are the different kinds of isomers found in alkanes. So methane, ethane and propane are first three members of alkanes and they have single structure. But if we go to the higher alkanes, means if we consider butane, pentane, hexane, heptane, so for higher alkanes they exhibit more than one structure. and the structures are said to be isomers. Here you can observe, in case of N-butane, N-butane means normal butane, which is a linear chain. And here the carbon atoms are attached with a single bond, and it will form an open chain, and it is a linear chain, straight chain. And if I remove one of the carbon atom which is present at the end of the chain, and I will attach that carbon to the carbon which is present last but one to the another end, then it will form the structure like this, and it is said to be isobutane. Remember, whenever a carbon atom is surrounded by two methyl groups, it CH3 means methyl. So when it is surrounded by three methyl groups, then it is said to be isobutane. So these are the two structures which are possible in butane. Then if we take another example, that is pentane. Here in pentane, one linear chain will be formed, that is usually said to be normal pentane. And if we attach one CH3 group to this carbon, then it will form isopentane. So here you can observe, we have attached CH3 group. One of the CH3 group, it will shifted to the carbon which is present at last but one carbon atom. So then it is said to be isopentane. Suppose if I remove another CH3 group and if I attach to the same carbon atom, then it will become CH3. So when three methyl groups are attached to the same carbon atom, then it is said to be neopentane. So if there is a linear chain, it is normal pentane, that is abbreviated as N-pentane. And if one methyl group is, two methyl groups are attached to the carbon atom, then it is said to be isopentane. And if three methyl groups are attached, then it is said to be neopentane. So these are the three different isomers of the pentane. So remember the isomers of butane as well as isomers of pentane. Now here I have taken some examples to name these alkanes. So here at the top of this slide, I have given the skeleton of IUPAC nomenclature. Now follow these to name these compounds. So first, word root. You have to see the word root first. What is the word root? The number of carbon atoms present in a chain. So here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 carbon atoms are there. So when 5 carbon atoms are present, then the word root used will be pent. Okay. So if 1 carbon is there, meth. 2 carbon atoms, eth. 3 carbon atoms, prop. 4 but. And 5 pent. Now primary suffix. What does this primary suffix indicates? The type of bond, single, double or triple bond. Here you can observe all the bonds are single bond, and hence the suffix used will be AN. Okay. And here along with this, one functional group is attached, that is OH. So if there is no functional group, we will simply write it as ANE. But here the functional group is there. That's why we will not write E here. We will simply write AN. And secondary suffix, there we represent functional group, and here OH group is there. OH group means alcoholic group. The suffix which is used will be OL. So thus we will write OL as secondary suffix. And C for prefix. Whether any substituent is attached here, chloro, bromo, fluoro, iodo, or methyl, ethyl. If such groups are attached, they are said to be substituents groups. Then we will use prefix. So here no substituent group is attached and thus it is said to be pentanol. Okay, and simply we can write it as pentanol or we can write it as 1-pentanol because OH group is attached to this carbon, and hence we will start the numbering of carbon from this end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1-pentanol is the name of this organic compound. Now let's see second one. Again, word root. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 carbon atoms are there. So thus we will use the word root pent. Again all are single bonds, AN. Again OH group is attached, which is a functional group, and thus we will use OL. But now it is not attached to the first carbon. Here we have to number these carbon atoms. From which side you will start numbering the carbon atoms? Here we have to take the carbon which is attached to the functional group, and that carbon should get least number. So thus if we start from the right hand side, then the carbon, this carbon will get 4th position. If we start numbering from left side, then it will get 2. So thus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We will number like this, and thus we will write pentane 2-ol, or we can write 2-pentanol. So this is the name of the organic compound. Then third example, you can see CH3, CH2, 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 CH3. Here how many carbon atoms are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What would be the word root? Hex. And all are single bonds, AN. Is there any functional group? No. Thus we will write E, ANE, hexane. Is there any substituent group? Chloro, bromo, or methyl, ethyl? No. So simply it is said to be N-hexane, that is normal hexane. Now let's consider another example. CH3, CH2, 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 CH3. Now you have to number these carbon atoms. This is the longest chain. Okay. Now in this longest chain, you have to number these carbon atoms. So how you number these carbon atoms? Here are the substituents. CH3 means methyl, and here also methyl group is there. Now from which side you will start? We have to start from left side. So thus this carbon will get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now word root. So word root is how much? 6 carbon atoms. So therefore in the longest chain there will be presence of 6 carbon atoms. Thus we will use hex, the word root. And all bonds are single bonds, and hence we use AN. And is there any functional group? Functional group is absent, and hence we will write hexane, ANE. And is there any prefix, that is substituent group? Now here substituent groups are attached. Which substituent groups are there? Methyl. So how many methyl atoms or molecules are there? 2 methyl molecules are attached. Thus we will not use the prefix simply methyl. We have to write it as dimethyl because 2 methyls are there. If only one methyl is there, then we write methyl. If two methyl, dimethyl. If three methyl groups are there, then we use trimethyl. Okay, remember this. Now, these methyl groups are attached to which carbon atoms? Second carbon atom. Okay, hence you have to write 2. And it is also attached to third carbon atom, and hence you have to write 3. So 2, 3 dimethylhexane is the name of this compound. So these are certain examples on nomenclature of alkanes. So try to solve more and more questions on nomenclature of alkanes as well as many other compounds. Here I have taken only OH functional group. There will be presence of amine, carboxylic acid, aldehyde, ketone, and also the compounds which consist of substituent groups. Okay, chloro, bromo, fluoro. By taking those examples, try to name all those compounds. Okay, so then only you will become perfect. From nomenclature, you will get at least one question in all competitive examinations like JEE or NEET or Karnataka CET. So that's why remember this skeletal form of IUPAC nomenclature. Follow the rules, then you will easily name the organic compound. Now we shall discuss about how to prepare these alkanes. So alkanes, these are mainly obtained from petroleum and natural gas. These are the main source of alkanes. But in laboratories, the alkanes can be prepared by three methods. One is from unsaturated hydrocarbon and another is from alkyl halides, and third is from carboxylic acids. So now we will study how to prepare the alkanes from all these methods. So let's see from unsaturated hydrocarbons how we can prepare the alkanes. Simple method is there. We will take alkenes or alkynes, and to that we will add hydrogen gas. In the presence of catalyst, we will carry out the reaction. Here dihydrogen gas adds to alkenes and alkynes in the presence of catalysts like platinum, palladium or nickel to form alkanes. And this process of addition of dihydrogen gas to alkenes and alkynes in presence of catalyst is said to be hydrogenation. So hydrogenation means addition of hydrogen. You know, alkanes, they won't easily react with any compound, and hence we will use catalysts. So what does catalysts means? Catalysts means these are the substances which helps to initiate the reaction. So thus we will use a catalyst. In presence of catalyst, we will carry out the reaction, and this process is said to be hydrogenation. Here you can observe the examples. Ethene, which consists of double bond, it will react with hydrogen gas in presence of a catalyst to form ethane. And similarly, propane gets converted into propane, and propane will get converted into propane. So simply the bonds gets removed and they will form bond with hydrogen in order to form the respective alkane. Okay, so here if we take alkene, we can take 1 mole of hydrogen gas. If we take alkynes, then we can take 2 moles of hydrogen gas, because hydrogen will form the bond with the pi bonds which are present in carbon-carbon, and therefore in order to remove 2 pi bonds we will require 2 moles of hydrogen gas. So this is one method to prepare the alkanes from unsaturated hydrocarbons. Then second method to prepare the alkanes is from alkyl halides. So alkyl halides except fluorides on reduction with zinc and dilute hydrochloric acid give alkanes. So whenever we use the alkyl halides means alkyl group is attached to halogen. They are said to be alkyl halides. So CH3Cl, chloromethane, when it reacts with hydrogen gas, it will displaces the Cl and hydrogen will comes in the place of that Cl, and thus it will form CH4 and HCl. So this is one method to prepare the alkanes from alkyl halides. Similarly, chloroethane, when it reacts with hydrogen gas, okay, then it will form ethane. Similarly, 1-chloropropane will give propane in presence of zinc and dilute hydrochloric acid. Here hydrochloric acid, it will act as a catalyst. Okay. And here fluorides will not undergo reduction with zinc and dilute hydrochloric acid because fluorides are highly reactive, so that if we go to carry out the reaction, it will undergo explosion due to its very high reactivity. That's why we will not obtain alkanes from alkyl fluorides. The next method is alkyl halides. If they are treated with sodium metal in presence of dry ether, it will give higher alkane, and this is known as Wood's reaction. One of the important reaction. You will study the Wood's reaction even in second PUC also. So remember this reaction. So alkyl halides when treated with metal, sodium metal in presence of dry ether, it will give higher alkanes. Let's see. CH3Br. So when it reacts with another mole of CH3Br in presence of 2 sodium atoms in dry ether, then it will give ethane. Okay. So Na, it will react with 1 Br and 2 Na is taken, so that another Na will also react with Br. So thus it will form 2 NaBr, and remaining what? CH3 and CH3. They will form bond with each other to form ethane. Okay. So similarly, C2H5, C2H5, they will form bond because Na, one Na will react with one Br and another Na will react with another Br to form NaBr, and thus we will get butane. So this is the Wood's reaction. So remember this reaction. Next, how to prepare the alkanes from carboxylic acids. When sodium salts of carbolic acids on heating with soda lime means mixture of sodium hydroxide and calcium oxide, give alkanes containing one carbon atom less than carboxylic acid, and this process of elimination of carbon dioxide from a carboxylic acid is known as decarboxylation. So here we will remove the O2, that is CO2, from the carboxylic acid, and thus it is said to be decarboxylation, removal of carbon dioxide from carboxylic acid. So the sodium hydroxide and COO, calcium oxide, this mixture is said to be soda lime. So the sodium ethanoate, when treated with soda lime, it will form methane along with the formation of sodium carbonate, Na2CO3. Okay. So this is the another method to prepare alkanes. Then Kolbe's electrolytic method. This is the another important method that you will also study in second PUC. Here, an aqueous solution of sodium or potassium salt of carboxylic acid on electrolysis gives alkane containing given number of carbon atoms. So electrolysis means we will take one solution, okay, through that solution we will pass the electric current. So on passing the electric current, electrolysis process takes place, means they will get deposited on anode and cathode. Ions are formed and those ions gets deposited on either cathode or either anode. So upon electrolysis, we will obtain ethane along with the liberation of carbon dioxide, hydrogen, and sodium hydroxide will remain in the solution. So this is the reaction which is said to be Kolbe's electrolytic reaction. And this takes place in following steps. First, sodium acetate, it will dissociate into ions in the solution, that is CH3COO minus and Na plus. Now at anode what happens is oxidation will take place. That means acetate ion will loses 2 electrons. Loss of electron is said to be oxidation. So it loses 2 electrons and forms acetate free radical. Okay, and then it will further undergo rearrangement to form CH3 methyl free radical. This bond will goes to here and thus this CO2 will be formed and 2 CH3 methyl free radicals are formed. This it is at anode. And then methyl radical, one methyl radical, another methyl radical, they will combine with each other since they both consist of odd number of electrons. They will share with each other and form ethane. Okay, so ethane will be formed at anode, and at cathode water, it will gains electrons and forms OH minus and H dot, that is free radical. Again 2 H free radicals, they will combine to form hydrogen gas. So hydrogen gas is liberated at cathode. Okay, so remember these methods of preparation of alkanes. 3 methods: from unsaturated hydrocarbons and from alkyl halides and from carboxylic acid.